Now, I've asked my experts yet again for their top transfer recommendations, and once again, they have delivered with some absolutely incredible picks, not only for transfers, but also if you're on a Game Week 6 wildcard. Now, before we dive into my experts picks, if you do enjoy any of the content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as we are trying to hit 9,000 subscribers by the next international break, and it is only possible with your help. So like I said, if you do enjoy any of that content, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. First up, one of the players that was recommended a lot by my FPL experts, and it is going to be Bryan Mbeumo, and this one for me makes complete sense. If obviously you've got Diego Jota in your team and you're not looking to wildcard this week, this for me is the ideal replacement. If you are wildcarding this week, I feel Bryan Mbeumo has to be one of the first names within that wildcard. Brentford's fixtures are pretty great all the way up until around game week 13, game week 14. As you can see down the bottom, the next 5 fixtures as well are pretty decent going for any side in the Premier League. Back-to-back home games in 6 and 7 against West Ham and Wolves, who've started the season absolutely abysmally. Manchester United away, again, we never really know what can happen in that one, with Bryan having the penalties and him being such a threat on the counter-attack and Brentford being such a threat on the counter-attack, I don't actually feel too bad about owning him for that one. Then it's Ipswich and Fulham as well after that, both quite leaky defences so far this season as well. So again, you could see Bryan Mbeumo doing absolutely fantastic during this run. So far this season as well, already got himself 4 goals, plenty of shots, plenty of chances created. This for me from my FPL experts feels like an absolute no-brainer. It just seems like a very, very smart transfer. Like I said, if you've got Diego Jota or you are on that wild card this week, for me, Bryan Mbeumo has to be one of the players you are going to be looking at this week. Right, let's move on. Let's take a look at the next players recommended. Again, these two are probably more short-term picks. Maybe if you're on a wild card, kind of looking for rotating or maybe cheap midfielders, then I do believe Semenyo and Tavernier could be absolutely fantastic picks. Both, again, coming in from the FPL experts. Obviously, Semenyo's been the more popular pick so far this season, just sheerly down to the fact of the amount of goals he's been scoring, the amount of shots he's been having in the box. I mean, as you can see here, 14 shots, 24 shots in total. He is up there amongst all players for shots so far this season in the Premier League as well. So absolutely fantastic work from him, and definitely a really, really good player to be going and picking up for those next 2 game weeks. Longer term, the fixtures do tail away, so you probably are going to have to bench him in 8, 9 and 10. However, if you are maybe looking for someone just to cover those 2 game weeks, then to sit on the bench and be a decent cover option as a cheap midfielder, then I definitely think Semenyo could be that man. Tavernier, though, is one that's probably been going under the radar. I highlighted him last week and I was absolutely gagging for a Mykolenko price drop, so I could have gone and got, Tavernier in my wildcard. It didn't happen. I'm a little bit devastated because, as you can see, the underlying data that this guy's been putting up, not only in terms of XG, but also expected assists, big chances created, he's doing really, really well, isn't he? And he's also getting plenty of shots off as well. And that's kind of been a key theme of Bournemouth's start to the season. They are a side that are getting a lot of shots and creating really, really good expected goals. They are within the top 6 sides for expected goals this season as well. So these two over the next 2 weeks could be fantastic differentials. Maybe, like I said, if you're on that wild card, you're looking to take a little bit of a short-term gamble and obviously bench them for 8, 9, 10 and 11. These two could be fantastic picks, but let me know what you think down in the comments section. A player that was unanimously kind of agreed upon within my FPL experts chat, it is of course going to be Gabriel. The next 3 fixtures for Arsenal are incredible, especially from a defensive perspective, should I say. Leicester, Southampton and Bournemouth. As we've seen in my previous videos as well with the 11-5 data, it is suggesting very, very high chances of clean sheets in game week 6, 7 and 8 as well. So it's also possible to potentially be going for that double up or even maybe going for a triple up in terms of the Arsenal defence. I feel if they were better longer term, I would be a lot more keen and a lot more bullish on a triple Arsenal defence because they have looked super resilient yet again this season. They had fantastic historical data as well, and Raya this season has been a man, like he's just been a man possessed, hasn't he, really? I do feel there will be a drop-off in terms of Raya's point scoring ability over the next few weeks because they are facing lesser opponents who will have less shots. However, those probably will start to pick up back up again when they face Liverpool, Newcastle within the next 5 game weeks as well. However, in terms of that triple up, I am a little bit hesitant because it is only 3 good fixtures in a row. Then they do start to tail away again. And I just think, you know, if they don't keep a couple clean sheets within those, or maybe, you know, lose a couple goals, I probably would be a little bit devastated that I didn't go for Saka. However, for me, one of the first names, if you are on a wild card this week, has to be at least one of the Arsenal defenders. If it's not Raya, I think it has to be Gabriel. Has already saw a price increase so far, and I think with the popularity of his transfer so far this week, could be expecting to see another price increase. So for me, again, this one is an absolutely stellar pick from my experts. No complaints with this one. I think it is a wonderful, wonderful pickup. Obviously, though, we have to say I don't expect him to score corners every single week. That is not going to happen. I think last season he scored around 3-4 goals all season. He's managed to score in back-to-back game weeks, and we usually see this sometimes where a team will exploit certain set-piece routines or kind of come up with one that just manages to beat and obviously kind of penetrate certain defences. We see it quite a lot where defenders will score in back-to-back games because they've got this system. Then you notice other teams do start to figure it out. They start to put tactical blockers in place, limit Gabriel, limit the corners, limit the free kicks as well. So that is what we'll start to notice with Leicester, Southampton and Bournemouth. For me personally, I think, you know, the clean sheet should be there, but I would not be getting him in expecting goals every single week. But like we've seen so far this season, he does pose a massive threat from set pieces, and it does seem like Arsenal have been working on that over the summer with their set piece coach to give them that added advantage this season. It's definitely come into fruition so far. Whether or not that is going to continue is a big question mark. For me personally, I do think there will be a drop-off in terms of those goals, and they might even start to look to target other defenders as well. But at the moment, Gabriel seems like that main threat. However, calling when that's going to happen is going to be extremely difficult. A lot of FPL managers have benched him in these difficult games against Tottenham and against Manchester City and not bared the fruits of his labour. However, now they've got these great fixtures, it is more for me the clean sheets that will be the kind of important factor in picking a player like Gabriel. And my final recommendation is going to be 4 strikers that were kind of, you know, scattered in the chat, like I said, with my FPL experts, Watkins, Solanke, Havertz and Jackson. All for me, very, very fine pickups for the next few weeks. All of them have good fixtures, have bad fixtures kind of rotating. All, as you can see as well, have put in similar kind of goal involvement so far this season. Obviously, Dominic Solanke, the underlier there, but he has obviously been injured for quite a few game weeks. However, despite that, is still managing to put up really good expected goal involvement, as you can see over the next, this season. His predicted points are, of course, a little bit lower. I think that's maybe to the Fantasy Football Hub, maybe not catching up with the fact he is now back from injury. There are some difficult games in here for me. Manchester United away, I don't really know how to call that one, but I probably would say, you know, it's going to be probably favour the home team in a United win there. Brighton away is a really, really difficult place to go so far this season, so that's not a guaranteed. West Ham at home, though, they look absolutely shocking at the back, and that could be a point where we do look towards the likes of Solanke and Son. Give the next 2 weeks a potential little bit of a scout, then at that point maybe look to bring them in. Watkins obviously is continuing to kind of find the back of the net. It looks like he's kind of shirked off those early fitness issues and injury issues that were maybe left over from the Euros as well. Ipswich in game week 6 is a fantastic fixture. As you can see as well, his underlying data has been absolutely fantastic and also has the highest predicted points over the next 3 game weeks as well. And then we move on to Havertz and Jackson. Now, if people are looking at that triple up for Arsenal, it definitely is there. You know, the fixtures are stupendous. 3 goal involvement so far. He does have the lowest expected goal involvement on this list. However, to caveat that, I would just say, obviously, last game, they were down to 10 men for a lot of that game. They didn't really have, you know, any chances that second half. So that's already one game out the window. You've also got to look in the same with the Spurs game as well. It was quite tactical. It wasn't a free-flowing game, so he's not going to, again, have plenty of opportunities. Now they go on a run of Leicester, Southampton and Bournemouth, and this is probably where you feel like he will start to pick up better underlying data and, of course, more attacking returns as he is playing weaker defences that we've seen so far this season as well. So maybe don't be put off by the expected goal involvement that you are seeing from Havertz. Just be maybe a little bit cautious about positioning and stuff like that, with him obviously having that ability to drop back into midfield. And then finally, it is going to be Nicholas Jackson. Again, he was covered in our transfer targets video, as was Dominic Solanke as well. The next two fixtures, in fact, the next three fixtures, I don't think are as easy as people are believing. Brighton have had a terrific start to the season. Nottingham Forest are currently sat second for XG conceded as well, so that might not be as easy a fixture on paper. And also game week 8, Liverpool away, I would not back Chelsea for that one. Liverpool have started the season amazingly, and they are currently top, leading the way for XG conceded as well. So they're facing arguably some of the best defences in the league over the next 3 game weeks, and that would be putting me off Nicholas Jackson, because usually XG conceded is a really good barometer on whether or not teams are going to be able to score against these defences. So I think going up against such rigid teams that have all had very positive starts to the season could be a little bit of an underlier for me, and maybe why I would be put off against Nicholas Jackson. Now, I know he looked fantastic against West Ham. However, if you watch the match of the day, analyst kind of breakdown of why they did so well, it was just weird tactics from Lopetegui, getting a man to mark him and then the centre-back not covering it, so there was just acres of space for other players to go and run into. I doubt that is going to happen with more tactically astute sides like obviously Brighton, Nottingham Forest and Liverpool, so I do think there might be a little bit of a decrease in terms of the goal involvements for Jackson. It's not that I'm saying he's a bad pick, I just think the next 3 fixtures are a lot harder than people are potentially giving credit for. They're seeing green on the old FDR. However, for me, Brighton and Forest are definitely not green fixtures at the moment. They're more like greys. However, it is 2 home games, so it might work out better in his favour. But let me know what you think of that down in the comment section below. Let me know which one of these strikers you would be selecting if you're on a wild card or looking for a free transfer this week. Obviously, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you're hitting that like button, subscribing as well. Like I said, we are on that road to 9,000 subscribers before the next international break. But thank you very much for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck in game week 6.